Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Stupid Clock. I'm Joe Dog. Over there beside me is Dan, and down below is Mr. Bachman, Joe Bachman, the other Joe.
The other white Joe.
Yeah. Dan, I was looking. It is not the big main one.
Okay.
I can't find anything on the other unless it was clickbait.
Could have been clickbait. I mean, it looked like clickbait, but I do believe if a rocket blew up on launch from Florida, and
Zach
it was
would be saying something about it.
Zach could be saying something about it before
Mhm.
now.
Either that, or he's still busy cleaning his broken glass from his windows.
Well, wouldn't be the first time. Breathing concrete dust is not fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can find is the lunar lander is supposed to land on March 2nd.
Well, that's kind of next weekish. Well, week after next, but not too far into it.
Well, that would be Sunday week. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm looking at a regular calendar instead of the one I use for my budget that starts on Monday and ends on Sunday. Because after 47 years, having each line be a pay week makes more sense to me.
Yeah. And Dan understood what I meant by Monday week.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Southern term, Joe.
Oh, we're on the last Monday of this week, so
or Sunday week.
Yeah.
As one of the streamers put it the other day, welcome to the fourth Monday of the week.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember hearing that.
Oh, did y'all hear about the YouTuber who got a ride in the ARCA race at Daytona
No.
Saturday. Cletus McFarland.
Oh wow, yeah, I've subscribed to his channel.
Yeah, Cletus ran the ARCA race.
Mhm.
First thing he did was got in trouble with NASCAR. NASCAR now owns the ARCA series. And the first thing he did was, got in the car and went out and turned laps with his GoPro on the side of his helmet and set up a GoPro camera in the car, which is against NASCAR rules. And, he said, hey guys, I've got 4.5 million subscribers. That's 4.5 million people that may or may not watch you, that will watch me.
Mhm.
NASCAR goes, oh, okay. So NASCAR set up in-car cameras for him and allowed him to share it on his YouTube page. At one time, he had 70,000 viewers. Most in-cars get about 15 to 20,000. The ratings were up, but Cletus went. His real name is Garrett Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
When he got wrecked out, he did the interview. He went full Cletus.
He does that very, very well.
Yeah.
You've got to watch the channel a lot before you catch him actually being himself.
Yeah.
Usually it was, you remember when he was building restoring a helicopter
Yeah.
for his wife?
Yeah. Consuelo.
Yeah, Consuela.
Yeah.
It's generally when he's talking to his wife on camera that he goes back to being himself.
Yeah. He flew up to North Carolina during the hurricane relief efforts.
And got run off the first time.
Well, he actually left before the runoff happened and went back home. And he said not one incident with all the helicopters flying around up there.
Of course not.
Yeah, there was no government getting in the way.
It does help.
He said people were painting big X's on the road if they needed help to land here. And he got into one spot and says, hey, this is it's a little tight. Can you go up the hill a little bit and clear me a spot up there? He came back an hour later and there was an acre cleared.
All kinds of boys with their 4-wheel drives and their chainsaws.
Mhm.
4-wheel drive chainsaws and side-by-sides.
Mm-hmm.
And he said one of the nicer landing pads that he had up there.
Yeah, I remember that. There's all kind of people involved with that, and the cops are stopping them and tell them, turn around, go back. They're not allowed. Trying to take people food and water and diapers and
insulin and
all kinds of necessities. And the local government authorities were turning everybody back because it was making them look bad.
And one time the guy said, if you go back up there, I'm going to arrest you. The fire chief goes, go, get back. We got more stuff. We got more people. He said, he's going to arrest me. He goes, He's got to go through us first, and all the firefighters lined up across the bridge
Hmm.
with their axes. Like, come on, boys.
We can take this rivalry up a notch if you want to.
Do you really want to argue with North Carolina mountain boys as volunteer firefighters?
Wouldn't be high on my list of things I want to do.
No.
And Joe's probably a little guy standing next to him.
From the ones I saw, yeah.
Mhm.
Hell, Richie'd be a little guy standing next to him.
Oh, Joe, you've got Amazon Prime, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you watched Reacher?
Not yet. That is on my list of things.
Have you caught the first 2 seasons?
No.
Oh man,
No, I have not watched any of it yet. That is literally on my list of things to.
that is one you need to watch. The new season dropped today. The first 3 episodes.
Mhm.
You know Alan Rich, whoever the guy is that plays Reacher.
Yeah.
You know he's not a little guy.
No, even like you see him in interviews. He is not little.
No, his nemesis this year.
Mhm.
When he stands up to him, his nose is about chest level,
Oh.
and he's bigger than he is. And I'll spoil this because it's in the trailers and everything. The guy's laying on the bench pressing, and asks Richie, he goes, "How much can you bench?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "How much do you bench?" He says, "I don't know." Doesn't really prove anything. He goes, "Yeah, let's go." He goes, "No, let's do Bavarian arm wrestling." The guy goes, "What's Bavarian arm wrestling?" He said, "I'll show you. Sit on the preacher's bench. It's some, it's a bench to do your curls where you can rest your arm on and do curls."
Yeah.
He gets that big guy sat down on that bench and he says, "Put your arm on the bench like we're going to arm wrestle." He goes, "Okay." He takes and he twists his hand like this. And he says, "Now, the trick is keep me from pulling your arm down as long as you can." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Just be easy." He grabs and he's pulling, and you can see the veins in his arm from where he's pulling.
Mhm.
And then he goes, "Oops, my arm slipped." Cool. Himself off the bench. He gets up ready to fight. Reacher grabs a weight and says, "Do you really want to do this?"
Yep.
It's like, whoa.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I howled. I mean, it is, there's more to the scene building up to that, so it makes it even more funnier.
Mhm.
Oh, but yeah, highly recommend the new season of Reacher.
Yeah, I was actually going to start watching Reacher the other day. And then I remembered that Prime has Pop Culture Jeopardy right now. And one of the guys I worked with at NDOT was on it.
Well, you got that.
Yeah, got to pull for the team.
So I went back. I already knew they didn't win, but I still had to go back and watch the episode.
See how dumb he is.
Well, him and his 2 buddies, because it's teams of 3.
Oh, okay.
For this one. And him and his 2 buddies, the man made constant pop culture references at work. God love the man. But him and his two buddies, they go to
Trivia nights.
trivia nights and Chicago Comic-Con. Like, they're all into that stuff. The categories that they got just were not conducive to their knowledge set.
Yeah.
Mm.
I will say
That-
this: they were in third place going into Final Jeopardy. They ended up in second. So, and they got Final Jeopardy correct.
Now, do you know why they put Wheel of Fortune on before Jeopardy?
So that depends on where you're at.
Well, 99% of the time, Wheel of Fortune's always before Jeopardy.
Up here, Jeopardy's at 3:30 p.m., followed by your 4, 5, and 6 o'clock news, and Wheel of Fortune was at 6:30.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all are weird up there, but
Well,
The reason-
I'm not going to deny that.
the reason they put Wheel of Fortune before Jeopardy is so they can make you feel like you're super damn smart and then show you how stupid you really are.
Mm.
One of my favorite contestants to ever be on Jeopardy was the blind guy. You remember him?
No.
This had to be this had to be 20 plus years ago. Blind gentleman. He kept track of everybody's scores in his head. So he knew what he had to, if he got a daily double, he knew what he had to bid,
Yeah.
what he could bid to either stay in the lead or get back in the lead.
Yeah.
Final Jeopardy, he knew what he needed to do. And they gave him a card at the beginning of each round that had the category names
Yeah.
on it. So he could remember those easily enough. But he went through and this was after they stopped doing the 5-day, like if you made it through 5 days you were done,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. But the whole time he was on the show, never once did he say, I'll take this category for 400, and it had already been picked. He knew which ones had been already picked off the board and could remember it.
Yeah, well, he's working strictly on memory, so his mind is not occupied by reading, looking at the board, seeing who's
Yeah.
punched in ahead of him or anything. It's just they couldn't get in his head.
Yeah. Well, he's not, I don't know how much the visual processing takes up of the brain, but you figure all those lights and different color lights and everything, that's just extra.
Stimuli.
Yeah.
And all that's just pulled away.
I wouldn't want to play him in pinball, I'll tell you that.
You wouldn't want to do what? Play what?
Play him in pinball.
Oh,
Pop culture reference, I'm sorry.
plays by sense of smell. I know.
I never knew before a couple of days ago that Pete Townsend, who wrote the song, actually hated it. And they had to play it so much.
Do you
when
know
the album was new.
it's now one of the songs that they do not do in concert.
Mm-hmm.
It's not played much on the radio anymore
No.
because of its offensive theme.
Yeah. Oh, that popped nicely. Don't get jealous, Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like how many steps on the stairway you have at home, stairs at work. One thing I hate is when my brain subtracts a stair going down.
Mm-hmm.
You get that last one and you try to make another.
One thing I always hated at work was no two sets of stairs had the identical leg lift between them. Some of them were real close together, some of them are real far apart.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's why they've got codes now.
well, I'm glad that's why they had handrails back then.
Mm.
You lift your leg up, and the bottom of your shoe just doesn't clear the step you're trying to step on, and you trip going upstairs.
Donna did that at Halicon one year on the grand staircase.
Mm-hmm.
She tripped on that bottom stair and made 5 before she fell. Everybody says, "Damn, I want to see you do that again." Not saying alcohol was involved or anything, but
Yeah, a few people went up to the bar and said, "I want what she's having."
so what's been going on up in the Indiana territories?
Oh, not a whole lot. And we had our. I probably won't be awake for Last Man Standing tonight because I've been up since about 4 o'clock because we had to drive down to Fishers this morning to go to our company's construction conference. But it's all's pretty much quiet without going into politics.
I can agree with Carl's last statement. Stairs
Yes.
Helicon move on you. Yeah.
Well, the hotel is haunted, so.
Well, I know there's been a bunch of spirits there, but usually they're the distilled kind.
Yeah, and you and I drowned quite a few the first night I was there and awake for it.
Well, I do have a reputation to uphold. Don't know how I managed to stay alive the whole weekend.
I don't know how my A1C wasn't through the roof after that weekend when I went back to the doctor's the next time.
After all that cold beer, and I do mean cold beer that we didn't need a refrigerator to keep cold. Yeah.
Oh, crap.
What, you leave that out of the calculations?
No. I'm going to bring this up to full.
Uh-oh.
This is part of the history of Chattanooga. This was downtown on Broad Street back in the. Let me look at it again. Yeah. Downtown on Broad Street. Back in the early 60s. They transported missiles through town. What is that, a Titan?
Looks like it, but I'm no expert.
Yeah, that one you'd need John here to answer that.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. They should have rolled it on down in front. That's the Tivoli Theater on Broad Street. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Here's my question, though. Where's the semi that was hauling it? Because they just left it parked right there in the middle of the street.
Gone off to Waffle House.
Well, all I'm going to say is probably at the time, it was probably getting the one at the missile silo out where the Volkswagen plant is now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Donna. She won't be on Last Man Standing tonight. She's got an early doctor's appointment. Well, I mean, doctor's appointments are important. I guess I've got about a week and a half before I have to take Lindsay back to the chiropractor, which will be the next time that I have to set an alarm that I know of. I just hate getting up with an alarm clock after so many years of having to get up with an alarm clock.
Well, I've still got an alarm set here. 9 o'clock in the morning. I just usually punch it and roll back over and go to sleep, but
I don't turn mine on anymore unless there's something that I have got to get up and do. And usually it's taking Lindsay somewhere that she needs to go in the next county where her PTSD won't let her drive because the traffic's just nuts. And she just looks at me while I'm going through there, and I'm, half the time other people on the highway are just scaring the crap out of her, and I'm just going, guess it's time to get in the other lane. Look, baby, that's an idiot. We're going to get over. Somebody gets on the on-ramp and gets over to the fast lane and floors it, and I go, there's a police car up yonder. I'm willing to bet. Drive by, and they've been pulled over. Doesn't slow anybody else down, but I'll miss never mind the furthermore in the morning because I'm not going to get out of bed till noon unless I have to.
oh, that's what I like. I will admit I do something about my car. It just at 75, it feels like it's just like, but once it hits 80, just lays the mirrors back and rolls. And somebody will come up behind me, scoot over, shoo. I'm like, see ya. And I'll roll her up to about 85 for a little while.
Because if there's a cop ahead, he's going to be busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I've gotten used to where they set up for their radar checks or if it's just
use the force, Dan. Use the force.
I was trying not to say that. Yeah. My spider sense is tingling.
I will tell you, I've only had one speeding ticket in my life because I was trusting a radar detector.
My mama got me one of them, and I got tired of it real quick. I mean, I'd go drive past some shopping center. A radar detector would beep, and the automatic doors on the store would open.
Yeah.
And I'm 100 yards away, and I'm going, this is spooky. I mean, nobody be going in, nobody be going back out. It's just like the
Well,
radar detector.
I'll never forget that stop. I mean, I can close my eyes and still see things from it. We're cruising. We came back from the rod run in Pigeon Forge. I had a '79 Toyota Corolla. We round the corner coming from Oak Ridge into Athens.
Mm-hmm.
You almost know the road.
Yep.
There he was, sitting off in the bushes. I looked at him. I looked at the radar detector. I looked at my friend. We looked at the radar detector. We looked at the state trooper. We both said, shit. We looked at the radar detector again. Looked at each other. Looked
Went
back
in
at
and
the
pulled
top,
over.
and then it went off.
He
So
waited till y'all was through looking around and then zapped you.
we went by, and when we went by, I was already headed for the shoulder. I stopped less than a quarter of a mile from where he was parked.
Yeah, well, ain't no use making them chase you down.
Yeah. He walks up and he goes, first thing he asked is, why'd you pull over so fast? I said, we knew we were busted. Why argue about it?
Mm-hmm.
That was a point my way. He said, well, I need to see your license. This was before it was license and registration. He looked at my license and goes, well, Joseph, what seems to be the hurry tonight? I said, well, we told everybody we were going to be, we went up to Pigeon Forge for the rod run and got a little, lost track of time. So we told everybody we'd be home by 9 o'clock tonight. I'll never forget it. He shined his flashlight up on his wristwatch, and it was 9 o'clock straight up. He goes, you ain't going to make it tonight. I said, no, sir, don't look like it.
Mm.
He heads back, runs my license and all that. Comes walking back with the ticket and goes, well, Joseph, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. I said, yes, sir. He goes, you were speeding. Yes, sir. Do you know anything 15 over the speed limit is considered reckless driving? I went, yes, sir. This is a 55 mile an hour zone. Yes, sir. He goes, now, you know anything over 100, I can take you directly to jail and no questions. Yes, sir. He goes, you did me a favor, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to say you were doing 88. Yes, sir. He goes, now, you sign this and we'll be on our way. But if this car goes over 55 miles an hour on the way home, you're going to jail. Yes, sir. He followed me all the way to the Bonnie Oaks Drive exit. Dan knows that's what, 60 miles?
Mm-hmm. That's just about like the one that pulled me over before I even hit the speed limit leaving LibertyCon one time in Chattanooga. I had just gone past the 75 mile an hour sign, and suddenly he's pulling me over. I hadn't even got up to 65 yet, much less 75. And he comes marching up, looks, I've got a brand new GPS that's being trained the route. I've got my old GPS that can't be updated anymore. I've got a backup camera that's on showing me his blue lights, and he's going, all you need now is a camera in the front. And I got one, but it uses that monitor, and it's, and it's one of the backup cameras. It's not good for going forward down the road. And he just looks around. I got CB radio in there and all kinds of other stuff, and uh, he scratches his head and goes, "Well, I clocked you at 78." And my wife looks up, starts to open her mouth, and I just look.
Shut
It ain't
up.
wise to argue when they're making shit up.
Yeah.
I know damn well I hadn't even reached 65, much less 75, much less 78. And he run my license and my insurance, came back and said, keep it under the speed limit and let me go. All he wanted to do was see why I had so many monitors on the dashboard, because it was the same day that Tennessee started enforcing the
Cell phone rule.
cell phone laws, and he thought we had a cell phone up there, and nope, my cell phone's on my belt, still in a pouch. My wife's cell phone is locked up in her purse. I just had cameras all over the car.
Well, according to the law, you can't live stream while driving.
I've never been tempted to.
Yeah.
I just the backup camera. The main reason I put it on its own power supply instead of tying it into the backup lights was because it eliminated the blind spot in my mirrors. Its field of view was wide enough to where when a car vanished in the backup camera, I could see it out the driver's window.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot safer. I mean, you can get those fancy mirrors that wrap around and give you a extended field of view from inside, and it's just mirrors, but they're kind of big.
Yeah. This one guy, he's on YouTube. Well, he's a YouTuber. He was actually live streaming his driving. Had the forward facing camera and the camera facing on back. And, officer pulls him over and he says all this and all that, and he goes, "Officer, just to let you know, I am recording this." He goes, "Turn it off." He says, "I can't turn it off. I refuse to turn it off. It is my right to run it." And he goes, they argue back and forth for a minute, and he goes, "Well, sir, as of right now," he looked over at the guy riding with him. The guy said, 200,000. And officer, "What's 200,000?" He says, "There's 200,000 people watching the traffic stop right now." Things changed real quick.
Yeah.
He went from ready to yank him out of the car to, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
Yeah, I'd gotten pulled over once coming back from Plymouth, Indiana. I was working for a buddy of mine doing DirecTV. We had a big meeting that morning, and the prime contractor had told us, "Oh, all the subs won't have," because this was a subcontractor only meeting. All the subs will just have PM work, no AM work. You guys are good. All right, cool. We get out of the meeting. They go, "Oh, by the way, each of your techs have 2 morning jobs each." It's now 9 o'clock our time. It's going to be 10 o'clock by the time we get back to Crown Point. Great.
Mm.
So I was warehouse manager. I took off flying down US 30 because I knew until I got to LaPorte County, it's the Autobahn. There ain't never a cop on that road.
Except that day.
Oh no, I'm cruising. I'm doing 95 and a 55, and I'm tooling along, and I look over. I go, oh, there's the Plaza 30 truck stop. Shit, that's the Plaza 30 truck stop. I'm in LaPorte County, and I look, and there's a county cruiser heading eastbound, and my radar detector goes chirp. Fuck. Let off the gas, coasting behind the two vehicles I was passing. I'm looking in my mirror and I see him flip around. Son of a bitch. I just pulled. He didn't even have his lights on yet. Pull off onto the shoulder. Roll down my window and I'm sitting there, license and registration in hand. He turns on his lights, pulls up behind me, gets out, walks up. He goes, "Did you pull over for me?" "Yes, officer, I did." "All right. Do you know why you pulled yourself over?" "Yes, officer, I do." "All right. You know how fast you were going?" "Yes, officer, I do, but I'll allow you to tell me what you clocked me at, sir." He goes, "I clocked you doing about 96. "Sounds about right, officer." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Well, you've been honest with me, so I'll be honest with you. I couldn't tell which one of you three I actually clocked." Fuck.
Well,
He
of
goes,
the three of us, I'm the one with the guilty conscience, so I'll pay the fine.
uh, he goes, "So I was just flipping around. Whoever got screwy first, they were the ones that were going to get pulled over and cited for doing, speeding in the 55. All right." He goes, "How's your driving record?" "Spotless, officer." "All right, well, give me a minute. I'll be right back." Runs my stuff. He comes back. He goes, "So what's the big hurry?" And I explained what had happened. He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Okay, well, I can understand your want to get back to the office ahead of everybody else." He goes, "But that also means there's other vehicles coming this way." I said, "Yeah, at least about 2 or 3 more from our company." He goes, "Traveling the same speed?" I said, "Quite possibly." He goes, "You got their phone numbers?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "I suggest before you pull off from this shoulder here, you call the lead, whichever one you think's in the lead, and tell them the next person I catch doing 95 through my area, they will get a ticket. You have a nice day." Oh, oh. You couldn't have fit a piece of angel hair pasta through me. I was clenched that tight.
Now, I will tell you an excuse I used one time when I had my 72 Chevelle Super Sport. It wasn't a hot rod. It was a shot rod. You know what that is, Joe?
Shoot rods through the roof, through the hood of the car when you take off, or
It's just wore out. It was a rolling junk pile. Racing, I was flying past this cop. When I saw him start to do the flip, me and my friend, I hit the side of the road and killed the motor. I said, "I got the hood. You drag out the tools." When I got the hood up, I dove across and was pulling plug wires.
mm-hmm.
Of course, he's running up, why are y'all jumping out of the car? He goes, what's going on here? I said, throttle hung.
I had that happen with a car of mine.
I've had it happen with a car crash in my front yard.
But, I'm...
Wasn't my car. I wasn't in it. Somebody else.
But, I'm sitting there working carburetor, trying everything, trying to get it loose and all that. And he's like, what are you doing? Throttle hung. He goes, are you okay? I said, it was doing 100. He goes, do you need me to call a tow truck or anything? I'm going, I got it. I think we got it loose. And he goes, are you sure? I said, yeah. He goes, well, you need to be careful with that stuff. I said, I know. We just put the carburetor on. I got the linkage too tight. I'm sorry. Talked myself out of a ticket. Of course, I had to rewire the plug wires and everything. At least it wasn't a ticket.
My very first car was a 91 Ford Thunderbird. And I was leaving. I worked at Staples at the time. And we're leaving. It was a Sunday. It was after close. Go to leave, and I put it in reverse, and I go to give it a little gas, and it felt like the gas pedal was stuck. What the hell? Hit it a little harder, and all of a sudden I hear pop, and the thing goes shooting back towards the building. Stand on the brakes, slam it back into park. Engine's just shut it off. Fire it back up. Still just high RPM. What the hell? I know I'm a computer nerd. I know nothing about cars. I know nothing about cars to this day. I am lucky that NDOT allowed me to fuel my own vehicles. I'm surprised they, actually thought I was smart enough to do the walkarounds on those plow trucks. But I get out on the 30. I'm going cruising down 30, get up to about 60 miles per hour and stop. And it would just coast. Back down to about 20, 25. Catch gear again, take off. Crap. Called my mom up. Hey, need you to pull your vehicle out of the garage, put it in the front yard, call the neighbor, tell him meet me in the driveway. She's like, why am I moving my vehicle out of the garage? I said, because I don't know if I'm going to stop before I hit the other end of the garage, and I don't want to hit your vehicle. I said, there's something wrong with the car. I don't know what. I come, luckily, where I lived right on the corner. The street curved into another one. So I came the back way around to where I was almost dead lined up with my driveway. It was just a small little right left. And I come pulling in, just literally standing on the brakes trying to get this son of a bitch to slow back down. Slam it in the park. Turn it off. I pop the hood. My neighbor looks. He goes, oh, there's your problem. I said, what? He goes, the choke for the transmission popped and wrapped around the accelerator cable. Explains why I couldn't go below 60. Also explains why I couldn't go above 60 because it ripped out everything above third gear and above.
That's expensive.
I tell you what, though. Oh, yeah, it would have been if I hadn't just gotten rid of the vehicle. I was poor folk. It was cheaper for me to just go out and get another used vehicle than it was try and
patch that one up.
Yeah. Oh, there's other issues starting to form with. There's other issues starting to form with that one, but yeah, that thing sounded like a badass going down 30 though in second gear, doing about 65. And all I
had
could think of was Little Nash Rambler. You guys know that song, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm Now we're doing 120 as fast as I can go.
You're talking
I
about
had one of the last of the really, really huge Thunderbirds before they shrunk them down a little bit.
hmm
And I got it during a divorce. I gave up a car that the wife's son had took a joyride in and damn near totaled it running off the road into a ditch. And I wasn't about to fix it because he would have just done it again. But she wanted it. So I go, I need something to drive to work. I mean, little motorcycle I got, the boy done dogged it out. It needs to be totally rebuilt or sold. So I'm not walking to work. And she goes, okay, okay. Well, the guy she run off to shack up with while we were getting divorced gave her a Thunderbird. I got the Thunderbird. She got the junker. It wound up in somebody's scrapyard waiting on me to finish paying for it because I still had the original loan for it. I had to pay it off before I could get the title and transfer it. Junkyard wouldn't fix it until they had a clear title in hand. I didn't have one. Go talk to the bank. They're the ones with the title.
hmm
By the time I had it paid off, they'd already cubed it and sold it for scrap metal because she's impatient. She'd already left the guy that owned the Thunderbird for somebody else by that time. So I'm driving this Thunderbird around. Next thing I know, she's in a prison in Florida for grand theft auto. She and the guy that she was with after the guy that originally had the Thunderbird stole a truck in Florida and got caught. And both of them spent 5 years in prison. Now, during that time period, I was the envy of every married man, every divorced man at the factory. My ex-wife is in prison. Now that thing. By the time I got rid of it, I actually had the courage to charge $100 to get somebody to get it out of my driveway. I sold it. It was basically had a blown head gasket. So it was one of those check the gas, fill it up with oil, fill the radiator with water every time you wanted to start it and drive it. About 2 weeks after the grandparents that bought it came by and picked it up for their grandson in college, I saw it go back on a flatbed. I'm going, yep. Didn't put oil in it, did you?
Uh,
Or water, one or the other, because with the blown head gasket, it overheated driving 15 miles and would boil all the water out of the radiator. So I had the trunk full of milk jugs full of water, and I had a case of oil back there, and I put a quart of oil in. I put about 2 gallons of water in the radiator, and I was good to go for another 15 miles. I only had to drive 2 to get to work. But
have you ever heard of
I told them up front, if you don't put oil and water in it every time you crank it up, it'll blow itself up. And the kid didn't pay attention.
Have you ever heard of a bleach burnout, Dan?
Nope. Sounds like I should have, but no.
Yeah, you should have. Country boy like you. It turns, a good old burnout into a flaming burnout.
Oh, Lord.
The bleach ignites the tire smoke.
I was a respectable redneck. I didn't do that. And nobody ever saw me cutting donuts in the dump truck on the basketball court behind the middle school.
Um,
They did
I
wonder how about them tire tracks back there. That wasn't no pickup truck.
I had a black and gold 78 Trans Am with T-tops. Came out of Van Nuys, California. One of the 4 black and golds with automatic transmissions. Do you know who owned those? Bert Hal Keachum, one of the producer and the director, and the stuntman. She had a little bit of prominence.
Mm.
Yeah,
Don, that's exactly what it was. Now imagine somebody in an 18-foot bed dump truck doing that on a basketball court behind a middle school.
Well,
to go back to Don's previous comment, we didn't just have to check the duct tape. We also had to make sure the zip ties were secure.
did you know how to put the zip ties in?
He's wired computers. He knows zip ties.
Well, what doing a cabling job and trying to make sure your dash isn't just going to fall off is 2 kind of different things. First, you got to find a solid enough piece of metal first to zip tie this information to.
Oh, no, but that old Trans Am, it didn't have the original transmission in it anymore. You could not drive it normally and it not bark into second gear. It had a hell of a shift kit in it. And had a buddy that ran a transmission shop. I said, I went to talk to him, see if, is there any way we could tune it down a little bit? I mean, because there's nothing, at 15, it would every time. Wasn't nothing you could do about it. So I took it to him. I said, the damn thing barks second gear every time. And, is there any way we could, detune it a little bit? And he goes, well, let's go for a ride in it. We took off, pulled out of his shop, pulled it out on the street. He's like, damn. I said, yeah. Imagine that every time. He goes, oh yeah. He drove a few more and, smoked them, and it just lit them all the way through up into third gear. We pulled back in. He says, I'll give you $1,000 for it. I said, no, man, I ain't selling car. He said, not the car. I want the transmission. I went, why? He goes, I built one of these about 15 years ago and forgot what I did. And it's gone. I'll pay you $1,000 for it and put you another transmission in. But man, I want to keep it the way it is. He goes, I'll give you $1,200 to tear it apart, figure out what it is, and put it back. I said, I need my car. He goes, of course I need the money, but I need the car. He goes, well, if you ever sell it, let me know. Come to find out, it was a B&M street strip transmission. $8,000 in 1985.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah. Think of the money that what I don't even know what they would run now.
Mm. Probably about as much as my house.
I'd say I'd rather not think about how much they'd run now.
Do what?
I'd rather not think about how much they would run now.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, you know the three-wheel motorcycles, the Can-Ams? They've decided to make one into a four-wheel version. Down here in Georgia, the law says you can list it and insure it as a motorcycle, but you still have to wear a helmet while you drive it. They want $50,000 for the damn thing.
well, that's well, it depends on where you get it. 3,300.
Probably so, but
Of course, who runs turbo 350s anymore? They're all running that new 700 R4 or whatever.
this thing weighs not much more than one of the big Harley super glides, whatever they call it, the big touring bikes now.
Yeah.
And it's got, I think, 125 horsepower.
I'll be right back. Too much coffee today.
And basically, it will flat out mortally fly. But you're in a little plastic box. I mean, it makes a Volkswagen look safe. So I just looked at it. I looked at the ad. And I watched the video, and I go, "That's an awful lot of money for something that I probably wouldn't get much use out of before I accidentally went too fast and unalived myself, running into something that wouldn't jump out of the way." So I go, "No, I don't think so. I'm better off without a motorcycle. As much as I enjoy them, I'm better off. I like the pickup truck. It's wrapped in 3 tons of steel. I'm not looking forward to wiring up the camera I'm going to put on the front bumper so I can see how to park without having to open the door and check and see if I'm within the lines or if I got to back up and come back in a different direction or what. It's just so high off the ground, I can't see the lines for the parking space.
Yeah, that was one thing I hated about that work truck was just a train has a better turning radius than that damn thing did.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the same issue. Like I'd pull in, like, oh yeah, I'm perfect. I'm in between the lines. I'm in between the lines if I'm taking up 2 fucking spots.
Exactly. So
I
figured I'll
just the way that hood was sloped, it was hard to tell, like, my distance from the front driver bumper on that upper left edge to something in front of me if I was making a turn.
Now it's interesting. The van is almost as high off the ground, but the hood is sloped down.
Yeah.
So I can see where the lines are and put that in there perfectly. But the truck, it's just a big white box. Just a big box.
Yeah.
First time I drove it, I go, this is like driving the dump truck, only faster.
Well,
Dan, you were
gentlemen,
talking
I'm
about
actually going to back out a little early because I'm starting to fade, and it's been a long day of driving. So I will see
all
you,
right.
gentlemen, either tomorrow or Saturday.
One
Yeah.
or the other.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what's tomorrow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, today's
okay.
Thursday.
Oh.
But I'll see you guys later.
All right. Dan, you were talking about the Can-Am.
Yeah.
You've heard about the Indian motorcycles and the Slingshot?
Yes, I have.
It's all the same company.
Oh my God, that explains why they're so good.
And guess who builds them? Polaris.
That's another one that has come out with a three-wheeler with a cab on it.
Yeah. But the Slingshot runs that GM 2.4 Ecotech, 140 horsepower. The Can-Am or the Slingshot only weighs 1,400 pounds.
Yes.
10 pounds to the horse.
It's a good thing it's a three-wheeler because you sure wouldn't want to be having to pick that up if it fell over in a parking lot.
Yeah. Well, Tail of the Dragon, it has set the record on Tail of the Dragon for a car. I don't know what the record is on Tail of the Dragon, but I want to go drive it someday. 111 turns in 3 miles.
Sounds like I-40 from North Carolina to Knoxville. Oh, I love driving that road. I even liked it on the motorcycle. Of course, it's really hard to not behave as if it were some European road rally on that road, because it's got straightaways you can go really fast, and then you got to slow way down for the next set of curves.
Oh, Dan, I'm not going to be able to join you on Last Man tonight.
I may just, monologue for half an hour, and I've got some good news about the book, and that's I could repeat it now.
No. So, hey, make them tune in to Last Man Standing to find out what the news on the book is.
Well, that I can do.
That way, if somebody's watching on the replay, they've got to go watch The Last Man Standing on the YouTube channel.
Yep. And I've already got an ad for the book. I spent yesterday doing an ad, wrote a new piece of music for it, did the narration over and over again because I stumbled over one word in the last line over and over again. Finally, got it in one take, everything correct. 6 seconds under the total length of the video. I had I had to chop 30 seconds out of the middle of the music to try and make a short enough ad so that people could run it without going, oh, okay, now it's time for me to go down the hall because I've got 5 minutes. As we all know how much I like the sound of my own voice. But yeah, um, I've already got that uploaded to Last Man Standing. I'll play it tonight. It's already got like 4 or 5 views on my YouTube channel, and I didn't even tell anybody it was coming out. Well, I did post an announcement on Facebook, and then found out I made a typo and had to delete that with video and put the new version up that was corrected. And then I had to go back and change the link in the Facebook post. My wife asked me, why did I take the video down? I go, yeah, I had a typo in it. I had to redo it. And thankfully, it was a typo in this instead of something in the recording, and had to upload the new one. And figured that out this morning and went in and fixed the link in the Facebook video. And by the time she let me get all of that out, she thought I'd already got upset. But all it was is she wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. Oh. Now I go, yeah, it's fixed. It's fixed. Did it 5 minutes ago. Can I have my cup of coffee now?
Oh. So you're coming to Liberty. What day do y'all come in?
We have our reservations for Thursday. Thursday through Monday, just like we do Helicon.
Okay. Well, tell you what, I want to take you and Lindsay out to dinner, so y'all don't get too carried away with the libations.
I can try. Although I do stop at Arby's just before you get on 75 northbound, and I usually get the 4 for $5 deal so that I got something to eat at the hotel after I get there and nothing's happening.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna take you to a place. I'm gonna tell you some of the best food you ever eat. I'm gonna take you to Bees.
That has been something that we've tried to do before, that and Aretha Frankenstein, because Sean from Kentucky has always wanted to go to Aretha Frankenstein, and we get there 2 hours before it opens and there's already 100 people in line. I'm going, there's a Waffle House down the hill. Let's just cut out all this line business.
Well, I'll tell you about Aretha's. Food ain't as good as it used to be.
That has happened to several places. Believe me, there's been several places I remember being a whole lot better over in the next county than they are now, if they're still in business.
Oh, yeah, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay.
While we were down in Atlanta, Susan Raid said, let's go to the Varsity.
Yep, the only one left so far.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, okay, of course, me and Chris stayed at the hotel, doing the thing, and Donna and them went and got me, Donna, and Chris got onion rings, a cheeseburger, and a chili dog, and an apple pie.
Yeah.
Take a guess on the cost.
About $12 to $15 for all of that.
$55.
Oh, Atlanta's a whole lot more expensive than the ones in Athens were.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I was excited. Okay. It was a Guatney dog with Hormel chili, hot dog chili,
Mm-hmm.
on a Walmart bun. And I've had better McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Yeah. I'm more fond of the chili dogs from the Varsity in Athens, which we're still waiting on them to rebuild in a different location since the one downtown had been closed for years. The one uptown, the property owners decided they were going to make a shopping center out of it and bulldoze the entire building. But when I was in college, I could walk across the street from the University of Georgia, go to the Varsity downtown. They called it the Junior Varsity. And I could get a chili dog, a Coke, and onion rings for about $3.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, inflation has ruined that.
Yeah. I just wasn't impressed.
Lindsay they just opened a Whataburger in the next county. Lindsay
Yeah.
wants to go, and I'm going, I don't like the sound of a $35 hamburger, dear.
They're not that bad. But everything's expensive now, but it's a good burger. It's comparable to Wendy's.
Wendy's is my standard. Yeah. If it don't live up to Wendy's, I'm not going to go back more than a couple of times. And they're right across the street from each other, so.
Yeah. Oh, the City Cafe closed just right by the.
I heard that. Yeah. That's bad.
And they were going to build a new location down on Broad Street. It opened today.
What's the damage?
I don't know. I ain't been there. But it's a standalone building now.
Well, that's going to raise the prices a bit because they're going to have higher rent for a standalone than part of another building.
Yeah.
Let me get this other channel popped up here.
It is almost that time.
It's getting there. Lindsay cooked a ham and bean soup tonight, and I had a little bitty bowl of it. And evidently there was enough tryptophan in there to tranquilize an elephant because it wasn't 15 minutes after I finished the bowl that I nodded off.
Mm.
And it was almost 8:30 when I woke up. So.
Well, I was just laying there in the bed and just relaxing, and got over, looked at my phone, and the local weather guy had posted something on Facebook, and I looked at it. He said, "Your Thursday evening weather." I'm going, Thursday? It's Wednesday. Oh, shit.
Yes, I saw the little exchange between you and Chris about that.
Oh. It was like, damn.
Yep, I'm looking forward to warmer temperatures next week. I'm hoping that I will be able to finish up working on the little.
Outdoor kitchen.
Yep, as much as I possibly can do. Of course, part of that is going to be assembling stovepipe, which is not the easiest thing for me to do because I'm not an octopus. I don't have enough hands to actually do it correctly. Um,
Eh,
I've got a couple of uh, not gem clips. What are they called? The
hose clamps.
hose. Yes, I've got a couple of hose clamps that are big enough to fit around the things, and I've got a drill bit that'll fit on it. Well, not a drill bit, but a socket where I can just move them down, and once I get one end of it fastened together, it should be easy and get the
Snap it
rest
on
of
in.
just get the rest of the stovepipe assembled. Now I got lucky with a couple of pieces that I ordered. They were already welded together. And I'm going, ooh, no wonder I paid extra for these. These are deluxe.
I was watching one of those YouTube videos. Some guy was putting one together, showing how to put it together. Got it all put together. He goes, "That's good." Sets it down. All of a sudden, you went, "Son of a bitch!"
Didn't have it fastened as well as he thought. Yeah. Now I've got some high temperature caulk to put in between the sections that don't have to be disconnected so that I can clean the stovepipe out. But unfortunately, I can't do that with every bit of it because some of it, because it's making two right angle turns, some of it I can't clean if I can't take apart.
Yeah, well, I've been looking online. I'd like to have one of the little stoves for the back deck. Build me a little concrete. Use those big concrete paver things to
Yep.
set them on. Good Lord, they get proud of them old cast iron stoves.
Yeah. Sometimes you can find one from somebody that actually still possesses an ounce of sanity, and get it at a reasonable price. But brand new ones, the little
Oh,
bitty thing the little bitty thing that I got that doesn't even have a door where you can put the wood or charcoal in was almost $600.
well, they're wanting $300, $200 to $300 for one that's rusted, coated in rust, and uh,
Now those are easy enough to restore as long as the glass on the door, if it has glass on the door,
well, it doesn't have glass. It's
just
like
cast iron door, that's even better.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'd just like to have one for. I mean, nothing else. Go out and sit on the deck and have a fire. Can't have a hot tub because we got huskies.
mm-hmm.
I figure they couldn't chew up cast iron. They try.
Don't give them too much credit. They probably could. Hey,
There's
Zach.
Zach.
Maybe Zach will come on Last Man Standing, and I don't have to do a 30-minute show.
Yeah. But yeah, granted, one of them has brought a piece of the scrap iron up on the deck and is trying to chew on it.
I am not in the least bit surprised.
Neither am I. We got them
Oh.
a doghouse. They ate it.
Oh, for Dawn.
Yeah. And it's 5 minutes.
Yep.
Oh, new guy for the team. Okay. Awesome.
You know, you're clicking when a 30-minute call lasts for 3 hours. Yeah. New guy ought to fit then. I'm going to take a chance and put the bowl of cat food back up out of reach of the dog for when I have to run down the hallway the next time. Billy is no longer limping, and the scratch on his side no longer looks infected. He's doing much better today than he was yesterday. I don't know what he did. Probably just scratched it open and let the infection run out. But, you know, that's cats.
Oh, Little Red, the new cat, was playing with a hairband today.
I don't want to ask. What happened?
Well, he's learned how to shoot hairbands.
This is the one with thumbs.
Yeah. You know, he would hook it into a claw and grab it, pull, and let go, and boom, it shoots across the room, and he chases it.
You're welcome, Dawn.
Well, this time he wasn't able to let go, and it slipped off his paw.
Right back and smacked him in the face. Oh, you don't know how many times in high school I wish the guys with the rubber bands and the folded up pieces of paper would have that happen to them instead of popping somebody.
Yep. But the funny thing was, as soon as, you know, the sting stopped, he grabbed it and started shooting it around the house again.
Hey, let's try this one again. I think I know what it is. I think I realized what I did wrong the second time.
All right, I got to find. Oh, it's in the end stream thing. I don't have to look for it anymore.
No,
button. Yeah, it's time to just hit the button, guys. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good night, and I guess we'll see y'all Saturday here on Stupid O'Clock. Dan will be over on his show, and I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, Dan, you have to push that button twice for it to actually start the video and end the stream.
I don't know. I don't use it.
Well, even when you end the stream, you got to push the button twice, right? Yep.
Half the time when I'm still in, I have to hit it 3 times.
Yeah. That's why I'm still here. Bye.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.